Going live. Let me squeeze in here. Oh,
My insurance bro.
bro. Oh, sorry. Ooh, I bumped the table.
We got it.
Like
We're
5 times.
we're tight. We're gonna update this set.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to come back. Brittany Singleton.
Brittany Singleton.
You're gonna have to come back when the set is updated. So we're gonna have individual chairs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I will
like
definitely come back. Sign me
little
up.
couches, little chairs.
Okay.
But for now, I'm really happy you're here.
Well, thanks. for
Yes.
having me.
Thanks for coming on the
Yeah,
show.
so fun.
So fun.
So let's talk. Brittany Singleton. Thank you for being here. You are the Insurance Bros' very first guest.
Oh,
Very
so
first.
great. I feel honored.
Yeah.
Honored.
Yeah.
Yes. Should be.
So tell us a little bit about Living Gracefully, how you got started in that, who you're serving,
Yeah.
those types of things.
Oh, I love talking about it, so this will be easy. We started in October, around about October. I have a long career in healthcare, but saw a lot of opportunity to change it,
Yeah.
especially for seniors. My husband and I both have a love for seniors. He's a retired sheriff's deputy and went back to PTA school to be an assistant
Cool.
so that
Oh,
we
wow.
could work
That's
together
awesome.
one day.
Yes,
Wouldn't
work
that be great?
together.
I mean, we need more time together, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So we decided that that's what we wanted to do. But in October, it really was. I turned 50 this year.
Mm,
That was a
congratulations.
huge, yep,
Well, happy
milestone.
birthday.
Thanks. You can't believe it.
I
Right?
can't believe it at all.
So I think in my life, the adjective grace has been so important. I think about that daily and how I can be more graceful, and it's constantly this thing I'm reaching for. And so that's kind of where the name came from. We want to live in a graceful way, and we think that is primarily the goal of each human here as we age and become seniors. So me hitting that milestone, I think, mattered, and then us just being in the time of life where we wanted to make it better for our future even.
Sure.
But we thought we could add some value, and so that's what we did.
That's great.
So you're mostly concentrating on the senior community.
Yes.
Tell us, we can't see your banner there,
Oh,
but
sure. No worries.
what services are you providing?
Sure. So we concentrate on the last 2 to 3 decades of life. We provide anything that makes seniors well. So we have companionship services. I know Voss was asking about that.
Oh, yeah. What is companionship service?
I know, it's super cool.
I mean, it sounds cool.
It's
Are you
really-
like friends with everybody? Or?
Well, I think it matters. You know, I recently did a video that's on our website about making the seniors feel relevant. And that adjective for me is very important. I think it takes them longer, right? Sometimes to get thoughts out, to think about what they want to do. And I think healthcare providers are in this fast pace based on our healthcare system today.
Sure.
And so we have all of these people fast paced, running around, trying to get so many patients in a day. And we have these seniors that are a little bit slower in what they're trying to express and what they're trying to do. So I want to slow down and make them feel relevant in that I see you, I hear you, I want to be there to support whatever it is that you need. And that time is so precious to them. We've gotten great feedback that I love sitting with you and talking.
That's great.
Basically, that like one patient at a time
Yeah,
feeling.
yes. And just, I think they feel unheard at times from us
Yeah.
because we're so busy. And if you think
Moving
about
too
all,
fast.
yeah, if you think about all of the IT and the tech things we have, it
I
makes
know.
us faster.
Yeah.
It makes us very much faster. And they haven't come up to that speed because it's not their generation.
Right.
And so we're like buzzing around them. And I think it's sad. I think we need to slow down and learn from them.
Would physical therapy include? When I think of physical therapy, I guess as a mid-40s guy, I think, hey, I got hurt, or I need some type of rehabilitation.
Mhm.
So are you doing a rehabilitation, or are you doing like, let's stay active?
It's a little bit of both, I think. I mean, we can do everything from after surgery care. We, of course, like to see them pre any event like that. But one of the things that I feel strongly about, we work in a lot of group homes around the valley. And there's a lot of folks going into these group homes saying, oh, I can teach exercise. I can teach exercise to seniors. How hard is it? But
Right.
it is something that should be taken seriously. and I've been trying to educate the group homeowners, get someone in that has a license in the state that understands anatomy, and not only anatomy, but senior anatomy. They do have the same anatomy as everyone else, but there's some pathological things that can happen in the aging process.
Interesting.
And you have to be very familiar with those things, because pain to a senior can mean way bigger things than pain to your eye. Your eye, it can be just some sort of like pulled muscle, but
Right.
them, sometimes it's bigger things. They can have, things like brain bleeds and different things that can be absolutely even fatal to them. So we have to be really cautious.
And that could be everything from like a fall to, I mean, again, as a mid-40s guy, I've gotten out of bed wrong and been like, oh,
Yep.
weekend ruined.
Yes, yeah. We call those guys the weekend warriors, the one that go out and play basketball with their friends and they rupture an Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
Now, those things happen, but it's really scary. We're huge on falls, and you mentioned falls.
Right.
Fall prevention is huge, and people talk about the things they do for falls, but only a PT-based program really has the tools to assess falls, to make sure we change falls at a really anatomical level. But you're right, a fall can mean paralysis.
Yeah.
It can mean a
Do you
brain
do an
issue.
assessment when you meet somebody
Well,
prior in some kind of a fashion
Great
to
question.
Yep.
learn
absolutely.
what their needs are?
Absolutely. So we do physical therapy evaluations as needed for our clients. We're private pay for physical therapy. Our fitness classes are with exercise specialists that either have a degree in exercise, or they were collegiate athletes, or
Nice.
they've been competitively
I was a
doing
collegiate
fitness.
athlete.
Yeah.
Does that mean
Yeah,
I'm an
come on,
expert?
fine. All our fitness classes have physical therapy components to them, so they're very functionally based. So although all the fitness specialists can put their own flair to their program, I ask that some things to reduce rigidity are in there, some pre-stand activities are in there.
Mm.
So they're designed specifically with those components intermixed.
Sure.
As far as the assessment,
Yes.
we're private pay physical therapy as needed, and so I do the evaluations. And yes, there's standardized tests for falls and balance issues, several that we utilize, and then we go from there and we put a plan of care in place to address it. And then we test them subsequently to make sure that they're getting better.
Yeah.
They're at like a lower risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do people graduate from physical therapy ever, or is
They
it
can.
is it more of a an
That's such a
ongoing?
good question.
That is a.
It's really a good question, because I think it's a habitual thing that everybody can use all the time.
Right. I mean, you're
So-
always aging. You're always
Yes. So I could always
kind of going downhill, but then at the same time, if you're constantly working out and staying in shape, you're gonna kind of level it out. So
Yes.
it's always it's a good thing to keep doing exercise of some kind.
Yes.
And at the aging, the seniors, if physical therapy is your exercise, then you should just
Absolutely.
keep doing it.
Well, and so there's a time, I think, that some folks, it's interesting, some folks probably could graduate, we've gotten them better, but they love our time so much.
Sure.
It's that one-on-one time, and we get to know each other
Yeah.
so well. I think it's hard to let go of that. And so you can graduate, and some people do, and then we just say to them, hey, these are the things I want you to do while you're on your own, and we'll come back and check when we can. But I always tell people, when you have us in your life, like even initially, like we'll always be checking you.
Yeah.
Like you're
That's
always
good.
part of the family.
Yeah.
So-
When it comes to the insurance world, we talked about slip and fall. That's actually in the liability world, and someone who owns a group home has to be extremely aware of that. But in the insurance world, this is the insurance bros.
Insurance bro.
In the insurance world, they're more thinking like crack in the sidewalk. Do you have proper handrails?
Yeah.
But it really makes a lot of sense to take care of your body to almost as a preventative measure to those types of hazards.
Yes, like compensatory strategies
Right.
is what I say, because you could slip on something that you didn't think was there, or vision becomes a huge issue. So we do a lot of things to take vision out. Like our balance assessments and our treatments, we do things like change the surface of the environment. We change up surfaces so it's not as easy. We take vision out of the equation and focus on kinesthetics, and that's just body awareness. Like when I close my eyes, where is my body in space? And surprisingly enough, with diabetes and neuropathies and things, some people don't know where their foot is without their eyes looking down. That's why a lot of older people look down when they're walking because they think they need to see it.
Yeah.
So you don't think about those things. And only a physical therapist in that program can really help because we went to school for a really long time for that.
Right.
What's a really long time?
I went to school for 7 years.
7 years?
Yes, I think it's 8 years these days.
I went to school for 7 years too, but it's because I kept like not passing.
They're called that.
Well, you can do that program too.
I should have been a doctor.
Yes, yes. I think you are. I mean, I can call you
I
doctor.
definitely am.
Yeah.
I appreciate
That's
that.
fine.
Thank you. So you mentioned like vision, and so when I think of like closing my eyes, I immediately go to like a meditative state. Are you doing any type of that or meditation, or even I would imagine a lot of what you're doing is teaching someone because you're not always going to be there, right? And so if someone gets out of bed, hey, you should be doing these 3 to 5 things to start your day. Can you talk to us about that process?
Absolutely. You guys have the greatest questions. I mean, really,
Oh,
so good.
We're insurance
The
bros.
insurance bros do it right. Well, yes, so that is so good. So we do have home exercise programs and things that we ask them to do when we're not there because it just propels us further. As far as the meditation piece, that's so interesting too. Our fitness specialists, a lot of them go in and they're so concerned about doing it exactly right. And we always talk about as long as you're breathing energy and life that direction, and you go in with your bright eyes and your youthful spirit, you could do, you could mess your class up a little bit and still be just fine.
Yeah.
We want to go in and provide that energy and that really bright light for them. And so when you talk about meditation and things, I have been to all of our fitness specialist classes, and I know all of them. At one point in time, we do these perfect breaths, we call them, like give me 3 perfect breaths. And it's in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I always see them teaching with their eyes closed, and I know what they're thinking. They're completely grateful, pure gratitude. And sometimes they'll say, think of yourself in your perfect spot. Like, where is that place that makes you so happy? And so we do that with breathing, with our breathing.
Living in love and light.
Yes.
My wife talks about love and light.
I love that. I love that. So it's all just really good stuff, and I think that's what Living Gracefully is about, is trying to be in that peaceful spot, in that truly living spot. We just built a partnership with Salus Hospice, and that was important to me. Thank you. Because I wanted a hospice that focused on living, not on dying.
Right.
And that's a different philosophy.
Interesting.
And Salus does that, and so maybe we can come back with Salus.
Yeah, that would be great. How would you help someone in hospice?
Oh, so we see Salus's patients in hospice, and I love their philosophy because in hospice care, it's so important for bed mobility, for positioning to decrease pain, to decrease the wounds that they could
Bed
get.
sores.
Bed sores.
Sure.
And mobility is life. Let's be honest. Mobility will make you feel better no matter what stage of life you're in. So we work on seating, positioning, bed mobility, even some exercise to keep them feeling better, their joints feeling better.
How much of mobility or getting better, graduating out of a program, is physical work versus like genetics? Like,
That's
if I'm just not a natural athlete, I am. But if I'm not, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. I was in the band, boss. So
The band, marching band.
yeah. We we hung out with the football players. It was all good.
Yeah, you did.
I actually have a whole entire hierarchy of
I saw you guys over there.
of coolness in the band, starting with the drums and then like saxophone, and I have a
I didn't
whole
know about the hierarchy. I didn't know there was a hierarchy.
it's a band nerd hierarchy
very
for
cool.
sure. But how much of it, if you're working with a senior and they were athletic and active, do you see a difference than someone who is a lump or was a lump?
I don't really have, I know there's statistics and there's studies that show that leading an active lifestyle helps you age better. I can tell you that the 96 and 98-year-olds we see, in talking with them, they led really active lifestyles. They were sort of the grittier ones when it came to hard work. They didn't rest as much. And so, the other thing I'll say is sitting upright, being in a vertical position, that is healthier for anyone's body. So when people want to nap and they want to lay down as they get older, we really encourage them not to. Because your lungs and everything, all your bodily functions are reliant on the vertical position.
So napping in a chair is better than...
Well, I guess a little bit better. But eating, for instance, like eating in bed is terrible because you can aspirate and things like that. So we really try to get people at a 90-degree angle to do those things. But I do think, as far as genetics and things, I think that's something, if we get folks that are super motivated, those are more the folks that hire us, are the ones that are motivated. They realize I got to keep moving and they want it. A lot of times, though, and this is so interesting, we'll see someone and they may seem a little less motivated, and maybe they got talked into it by their family. But once you show them what they're capable of, all of a sudden you see that light come on, and they're like, I didn't know I could do this.
If they can get back up and walking.
Correct.
And moving again, independent.
Correct. And some of them have lost hope. We had a man that was bedridden for 2 years, didn't think he could ambulate anymore, needed to walk to get a kidney transplant. Hadn't walked in 2 years. So we have a video on our website of him walking for the first time in his life. And after that day, he's going to do it. But he admitted after that to his wife, he didn't think he would ever get there again.
Wow.
Pretty cool stuff.
It's amazing. That is cool stuff.
That's a transformative.
Life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Living gracefully moment.
Living gracefully.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And it looks different for everyone. Living gracefully. It looks different for you than it does me.
Right.
So we spend a lot of time finding out what that means.
When you're going into you talked about a group home setting, are you usually working with an individual? Are you working with groups? Are the group homes bringing their patients to you, to a facility? What does that look like?
Yeah, so all of the above. I think word of mouth is really what has grown us so fast. But typically we get into the group homes or the assisted living communities through our fitness classes. Once they see our fitness classes and see what that's all about, we've done a tremendous job and a lot of work in the music selection. Our music selection is very low stimulus. We don't just go in and play the oldies. We really have thought hard about our playlist. We have 2 approved playlists that we go through, lots of songs in those playlists, but by the same band. And so
What's the band?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay, fair enough.
It's proprietary
okay.
for us.
Fair enough. I just didn't know if it was Guns N' Roses or something.
It's not Guns N' Roses, but it's a wonderful band. They play familiar songs that we see people singing to, and then anyway.
I accept that.
Okay. And so that's really important to us. It's also very pleasing for the home. So when they come in and they have tours, they know it's us immediately. They hear the song and they're like, wow, and everybody wants to gravitate to that class. Then from there, I think people get to know us and they're like, who is that? And then they talk about our physical therapy. We always have a banner up in the home.
Nice.
And then word of mouth, families talk to families in hard situations.
I would imagine you probably at some point have like an audience.
We do. It's so fun.
Say, I'm going to get to it one of these days, and they're just watching everybody else work out.
Well, and the caregivers will be over there, and they're singing, making the lunch, and when I get that, like, I know we've won, because I'm like, this is a win for everybody involved.
Sure.
So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, very good stuff.
It's great, yes.
I know.
Ross, what else do you?
I don't know. I think I've answered. Let's see.
Well, I can say.
What did we miss?
Well, one of the things that I think is super important. We talked about, people educating themselves and getting qualified individuals. because there's not, especially in the group homes, there's not a lot of mandates around who can come in.
Yes.
All
Right.
of our employees are fingerprinted. They have CPR,
Background checks.
We can be hired anywhere. And I always educate the homeowners, look up your physical therapist. There's an fsbpt.com website that they can look them up, make sure they have a license number in the state, that they have nothing against their license. Make sure that the people you're bringing into your home are vetted just like your own employees.
Is it the same as AZ Care Check?
No.
Different
For licensed therapists.
Okay.
But I've been trying to educate on that. Make sure that the people that are coming into your homes are vetted, because this is their seniors' homes and they're vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And not people have learned that I can go in, I can make a quick whatever.
Sure.
And you don't want it to be like that. It needs to be quality driven. So, I was my undergrad is in exercise.
Cool.
I worked for the Clinton administration as an exercise specialist
Oh,
years
wow.
and years ago. And so I kind of worked
Famous.
my whole career to do this. I'm pretty excited about that.
Very.
Yeah.
I see over there it says speech.
therapy.
Yes. So
Is that like a post-stroke
yes, it
type
can
of
be.
situation?
So speech therapists work on cognition. They work on memory, things like that. They also work on swallow.
Do you swallow?
I don't. I mean, yes, we do swallow,
Oh, wow.
but our
That's
speech
gonna be a tough
therapists,
one to-
I don't. I
to
don't.
retrain that
Yes.
one.
Well, it's muscles. It's muscles just like everything else. So
I
they
have
weaken.
no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
Like, okay, so have you ever
Yeah.
taken a drink and it went down the wrong pipe?
Sure.
That's aspiration. And as you get older, the muscles that control that fluid weaken, just like every other muscle. And so, as I've gotten older, I know I've taken a drink
what
more
do they
often.
do for that? Because I've heard it a bunch. Is there?
There's exercises, and I am not a speech therapist, so I couldn't lead you through
No, yeah, but
But
I didn't
there's
know that this was a
exercises.
thing. That's why I
Yes.
wanted to ask about
Yes.
speech therapy.
oh yeah,
And
swallows.
swallow's huge, and you can get aspiration pneumonia from it, because the fluid, little by little. So
Goes down the other pipe
Yep.
and
some of the symptoms are coughing, nose running, eye watering with drinking.
oh.
That's me in spring.
I got it right now.
If the Claritin doesn't take care of it, then
Okay,
you got-
fair
yeah.
enough.
I might
Like
need this
walk
also.
into a cat and just be like,
Okay,
oh.
yeah, let's differentiate between allergies.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
that. But yeah, we do that.
If someone is in a, let's say, a bedridden situation or limited mobility, you can still help them and work with them in different ways.
Absolutely. And I think this leads to a really good point. Unfortunately, at times, because of the documentation that insurance paid therapy has to go through,
Yeah.
Medicare, private insurance, there's a lot of focus on the documentation. The time that's actually spent with the patient is limited. For us, we do documentation, but it's at home later. We do it that same day, but at home.
So then, like the insurance people that are billing, they use part of their time for the client and part of the time for paperwork.
Oh yes. Oh
so
yes.
the client doesn't even get the full hour. It's just
no,
like
correct.
oh,
They never get an
Like
hour.
40 minutes.
Not
40 minutes?
even.
Really?
Sometimes it's 15 to 30.
15
Surprising.
to 30.
Yes.
For physical therapy.
Yes. Yes.
When you're supposed to get an hour.
Well, I
Or-
don't think you're supposed to get an hour. I think a lot of times it's 30 to 45 and it's
Oh.
cut short. And it's the very minimum, unfortunately. It's just the way our system is kind of designed. So with us, it is, I promise anyone who's watching, 1 full hour of our hands-on.
Wow.
And so
That's great.
we do not go to a computer. The only time they see me writing is during the initial evaluation.
Yeah.
Everything else that I do, like in the car, like on
After.
the way out after.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then that creates like almost a journal
Yes.
where you can like benchmark someone.
Yes. And that's the thing. Like we write things that like we want to benchmark, that we need to like remember if somebody would need. It's me and my husband right now as the therapist.
Okay.
So we talk every night. I mean, it's great continuity of care. And let's talk about the continuity of care. We have our fitness specialist who we talk to all the time about physical therapy principles.
Mm-hmm.
And they sometimes will say, hey, Mary used to be able to raise her arms above her head. She's having a hard time, or she's showing this or that. They let me know. I call the homeowner, say, hey, the fitness specialist saw this. Do you think the family would want some therapy? And so it's this wonderful continuity of care for fitness.
wow.
That's
to
going back and
therapy
forth, yeah.
if needed. So a lot of times homeowners reach out to us and say, hey, we've noticed something. We've identified aspiration with the nose running and the coughing and given it to that homeowner. So it's just a great partnership.
It's wonderful.
I know. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, everything just kind of ties together.
It's so great. I feel so lucky
And that-
and blessed.
That
That's
extra
awesome.
time with each person, it's like 2 sessions in one, so you're
Yes.
really helping people out.
The unfortunate part is it's on the consumer. The cost is on the consumer's back.
Sure.
I'd love, for our healthcare system, and one day, hopefully, I can impact in some way the healthcare system to really look at some of our outcomes and decide that it's a better way to have less documentation.
Well, I think it gives you, as the provider, a lot of flexibility in being able to pivot. So, like if you're not in that private pay and you're just going off of that insurance company, the insurance company is going to say it's this and that's it.
Yes.
There's nothing else. Versus, hey, now I can't raise my hands. Do I have to file a claim for that, or
It's
those
a
types
different
of
problem. You have to do a separate,
evaluation?
yes.
Yeah.
And one of the stories I tell on one of our videos, and this is so, I love what you just said, because it is just black and white. Like, okay, you have a knee injury. You only treat the knee. You don't treat anything but the knee. The problem is that your body's connected head
Absolutely.
to toe.
Yeah.
I can work on posture, and it's going to affect the knee.
Yeah.
True. Everything is connected. We work on whole body. But there was another incident that happened. One of our older ladies, 96 years old, sweet as she can be, but, we're really focused a lot of times. So we give them breast bakes, but then we say, let's go. Because they have goals and we want to help them achieve. She said, sit down. And I sat down, and she said, I just need talking time. And I said, okay.
Okay.
And we spent the next 45 minutes talking. And she said, I got more out of this than anything you could have done. And that's the luxury we have.
Yeah.
Is we have the luxury
Yeah.
to help them with whatever it is.
I think physical therapy, like in the, let's say, middle-aged world, or not in the senior world, almost has a bad rap. I mean, my wife worked retail for a number of years and had like a quarter thumb and had to go to a facility and just did this while she was surrounded by,
They probably walked away too.
while she's surrounded by like car accident victims, and it seemed overkill, so to speak, as far as, or underkill.
That's a great way for insurance to make some money, or the
Sure.
client. But that reminds me, I spent many a years in physical therapy, playing football.
Sure.
Right. So I have a lot of concussions and bad neck and shoulders and back,
Yeah.
and knees. A lot of time in putting myself back together every summer so I can play football again. So it was great, but there was a lot of, just things that I have to keep doing this, but
And they walk away. And the fact of the matter is they may be seeing 3 patients at once in a clinic.
yeah.
But I was treating a patient just this week, and I'm over there. I've got my hands all over him, and while he's like stretching, I'm like working. I'm getting the machine ready, and we're going. And at the community I was in, the physical therapist put somebody on the bike and said, "I'll be right back." And he laughed, and I laughed, and I said, "Which one do you want?"
Yeah.
And so it's unfortunate, and I laugh about it only because I know the difference we make.
Sure.
But it's not a laughable situation, really, because they are pushed by these companies, and I've been in it for years and years, to see so many people. It's productivity. And so these therapists are pushed to see X amount of patients in X amount of time.
Right.
And it's like something like 90% productive they have to be in.
So it's interesting you say that. I saw a presentation last week about from a physical therapist, and he was private pay as well.
Okay.
But he's focusing more on like college
Yes.
level athletes. And he made a statement that a lot of corporate physical therapists, let's say, have to see anywhere from 100 to 125 patients.
Wow.
Yes.
So imagine what that is. You're
That's
talking
ridiculous.
You're talking just, that's a factory.
But
Reiki.
is that the therapist, and then they have assistants that kind of help out?
No.
They
Separate
actually
entities.
have
That's
to.
exactly what Brittany was talking about. It's like, okay, you sit here and do your thumb. I'll be right back, and then you're going to the person in the
Yeah.
next table, and you're stretching a knee, and then
Yes.
it's like, okay, well, you keep doing that. Thumb, okay, good, perfect. I'm gonna go work
But
on
you're
this
still
guy's
billing
ankle.
for the thumb, and you're not doing anything skilled except that exercise, which the person could do on their own. But they're getting paid, and honestly, to the therapist and the companies, I'm trying to give them some grace here, because it's the system that has been set up for them
You know what?
to get reimbursement.
Well,
We all have to get paid.
It's, you know what? That's, yes. And a plus side for the therapist is the doctor says I need shoulder work. And I can go to a physical therapy, or I can Google it and take my own classes and try to figure it out and not pay that money and feel like I'm getting ripped off. But at the same time, then I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So if I don't go to the physical therapist and sit there and do my exercise while they're, helping everybody else, I'm most likely not going to do it myself.
Well, and
So
hopefully
that's why you
Correct.
go physical therapy.
Accountability buddy.
Yeah.
accountability buddy. That's right.
The consistency, they're going to keep you accountable, and then doing it, you're going to get better. But if you don't do it,
Well, and the other piece, if you have a good physical therapist, is if you have a different pain that comes along, they should be able to diagnose where that's coming from so you don't hurt yourself worse.
right.
There are things that can happen that hopefully we're educated enough, but the system has not allowed us to be able to use our diagnostic skills. I mean, look, in this state, you can only get paid privately. You can only diagnose and get paid privately in some states, in some areas. And so it allows for some freedoms we don't have with insurance companies. Insurance companies are still making us get prescriptions from doctors.
Wow.
Even though we are able to do our full assessment, we're able to diagnose as physical therapists. These insurance companies are making us go through the doctor for a prescription, which delays and clogs up and makes you go through a bunch of hoops. We don't have to if we had direct access.
But you are able to pivot if someone's having a knee or a hip problem, and they're saying, well, let me back up. If they're saying, oh, my back hurts, but it's really a hip or a knee problem, you can pivot and
correct.
adjust.
We have a patient right now. He's Parkinson's. He came to us because he was having pain in his rear end from we assessed him. But we worked everything, because as I fixed something, we started the core, but as I fix something, it kind of goes to a different area and we have to readjust. The bottom line, it was a full postural issue.
Wow.
And so we have him on the floor, on his belly. We have him on the wall. It's all about shoulders and getting back to, being in really good postural alignment. And slowly but surely that
Wow.
Right. If one thing tightens up over here, it's going to tighten up something else everywhere else. So
Correct.
then
Actions
you
and
loosen it
reactions.
yeah.
You've heard
Maybe
the
actually
head,
has a
shoulders,
reaction.
knees, and toes thing.
Yes.
Head, should we sing
Yeah.
it?
Sing it. Sing it.
But it's all connected.
What about the bones connecting? Do you know that song?
Yeah, I saw
From
it.
Gracefully?
Knee bones connected to the thigh bone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably be pulled through it if you start.
No.
No, okay.
No.
No, you can't do
No, I
it.
can't. Is that the same commercial we saw when we were kids about the bill? Who did that one?
The bill.
That cartoon. You don't know what I'm talking about? The bill. Anyways, I'm probably
the
older
bill?
than you. No, like the bill becoming a law.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking
On the
about?
steps of the
Yes,
Senate.
on the steps
Yeah.
of the Senate. What was
Yeah.
that? Anyways,
I remember
his
digress.
name was Bill.
I digress.
Yeah. His name was Bill.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I didn't
Oh,
know if
man.
it was the same series.
Oh, maybe.
Brittany Singleton. Living Gracefully.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the best way for someone to get a hold of you?
So our website is fantastic. I'm super proud of that. It's www.living-grace.com.
Cool.
And our phone number is 480-200-2359.
Perfect.
Nice.
We'll make sure that
All right.
that gets out.
Yeah.
Do you have any events coming up or any?
Not that I'm aware of. They come in and we say yes if we can. But if anyone wants to invite us, we'd be happy to try
Awesome.
to attend this.
Well, thank you for being our first
Thank you.
guest
Yes.
on the insurance
Thanks for
call.
having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Boss, do you have anything coming up this week?
Not this week. Next week is Senior Healthcare's Solution AZ's networking event
On the 16th.
on the 16th. Yes.
Where
So
is that?
it is Sunrise Care Homes in
Okay.
Scottsdale.
Okay.
Check the flyer for on the site.
Is that
for
with
it.
Catherine?
Yes.
We do her
It
fitness
is.
classes.
Yay.
Catherine is amazing. She's one of our great partners.
Well, yes. Well, you'd have to
We'll
come.
be there.
You,
Yeah,
you
we'll
gotta
be there. I've got to be there. So we'll
Perfect.
be there. That's our
Yes.
next event.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Insurance Bros.
George Bros.
We are done.
All right.
Thank you,
Time
guys.
flew. Thank you very much.
That's wonderful.